Okay, I thought I would try to make a screencast of how I would explore scientific articles, just because I have not seen any videos like this. Maybe they exist, but I think they should exist, because then I would be better at it if I knew someone who's very good at it, but I don't, so now I'll just do it myself, and yeah. And it will not be specifically related to a specific topic. I'll just start from this point. Reward feedback neuroscience bipolar. I want to know in general, like, how reward in the brain has an influence on well-being. And I think I will make a document for the literature review. So this is the major thing to know. Google Scholar, here you can have all these things here, and you can, it's very beneficial to save these in some kind of library, so you can overview a lot of you can have the overview of a lot of different topics. So I already, it was because I started looking at this, but elevated reward-related neural activation is unique biological marker of bipolar disorder assessment and treatment implications. Growing evidence indicates that the risk of bipolar disorder is characterized by elevated activation in frontostriatal reward neural circuit, orbitofrontal cortex. I read the other day about orbitofrontal cortex, nature, positive, negative reward, something like this. Abstract reward and punishment representation in the human orbitocortical cortex. The orbitofrontal cortex is implicated in emotion and emotion-related learning. Using event-related functional magnetic resonance imaging, we measured brain activation in human subjects during an emotion-related visual reversal learning task, in which choice, blah, blah. Distinct areas of the OC were activated by monetary reward and punishments. Moreover, in these areas, we found a correlation between the magnitude of the brain activation and the magnitude. The findings indicated that one emotional involvement of the human magnitude of abstract rewards and punches. Distinct areas of the OFC. I want to know whether they are different. Is positive and negative reward modeled by different brain systems networks. Orbital OFC and maybe OFC. Yeah. Okay. So it is elevated activation in bipolar. See. It is proposed that individuals who have normally elevated reward-related neural activation are at risk for experiencing an excessive increase in approach-related motivation during life events involving rewards or goals driving. In the extreme, this increase is reflected in hypomania symptoms. By contrast, unipolar depression is characterized by decreased reward responsivity and decreased reward-related neural activation. So, of course, like, then I want to know if unipolar depression has any link to the OC. Reward. Oh, that was actually the second one I looked at today. I have only looked at these two as of now. Okay, I'll wait. sensitivity. Collectively, this suggests that the risk for bipolar disorder and unipolar depression are characterized by distinct and opposite profiles of reward processing and reward-related neural activation. The objective of this paper is threefold. Reward, second, we propose activation reflects a biomarker differential risk. How challenges neuroscience social work impairment, students, cognitive process. Is it underdiagnosis? Reward hypersensitivity model, the best behavioral approach system. So what is going to happen is that there are going to be a lot of tabs. Reinforcement sensitivity. This physiological mechanism believed to control appetitive motivation. It is theorized to be sensitive to signals of reward, non-punishment, and escape from punishment. Activation in this system causes the individual to begin or to increase movement towards goals. It has also been held that this system is responsible for the experience of positive feelings, hope, and happiness. Okay, reinforcement sensitivity. Sensitivity theory. Causes individuals to begin movement of actions to meet goals. I think it's good if you don't need to try, like even if it's just weird to try to find other words, then it's at least forces you to not directly copy it, because I have to just face the fact that, like, even if I can understand what this means and it's quite simple, then, like, depending on how tired I am, I will not know. I will not remember this really if I don't have something larger to connect this to. Yeah, it has also been held. Yeah, so it's important because maybe it's responsible for positive valence effects. Brain behavioral systems that underlie individual differences in sensitivity. I'm very interested in this, with individual differences in sensitivity to reward, punishment, motivation. Theory of the RST has been used to study and predict anxiety and impulsivity graced by social theory of personality. Distinguishes between fear and anxiety. Behavioral activation system. That is a regulated approach behavior. Conflict between. Okay. So it in a way it becomes a tree, right? You're starting at some root node, and it's not that important of root node, and then you're branching out into different tabs, and then you go in and you, like, start working at some subtree, and then you're, like, backing off for now, at least. Yeah. So maybe there should be some kind of tool. We should have some kind of software tool where we can overview this tree better, because it will take too long to, like, write down the tree, because yeah. Okay. Leads to the value of individual places and potential rewards. That sounds interesting. I think you can actually, in some pages you will just go down here and then you will be messed up, but okay. And I also have to show you Sci-Hub. Oops, Sci-Hub. In different countries it might be blocked, and then you can either find a proxy or you can use this Tor browser, which will circumvent it. But yeah, so this is Sci-Hub, and then if you have this article that you found, but you can not see it all. Okay, you can actually see it all here, but if you couldn't, if you couldn't, then you would do something like this. You would copy paste it here, and then you can get access to the whole thing. Yes. Okay. The human orbitofrontal cortex is an important brain region for the processing of reward and punishments, which is a prerequisite for complex and flexible emotional and social behavior, which contributes to the evolution. One is the medial distinction, whereby medial is related to monitoring the reward value of many different reinforcers, whereas lateral, I have only a vague idea. My spelling is so broken today. So, positive is the application of a positive reinforcer, negative reinforcement state. That's yeah. So perhaps it would be better to start with something like this. Okay, it's maybe not the best article, but Wikipedia could have been a better start maybe. Now I have this. This is a good one. I'll have to save it. Bring it back. Oh, I could also save it here actually. I already did. I already did. Some of the conclusions of this research are that the orbitofrontal cortex represents the de-changing, and relative reward value of many different, such as taste and somatosensory stimuli, and many different secondary learned reinforcers, including. Okay, that's an interesting distinction. Primary. Oh. Primary versus secondary reinforcers. Primary and secondary reinforcers are the terms which do with fulfilling biological need. Secondary reinforcers, specifically reinforces certain behavior associated with the primary reinforcer. That makes so much sense, of course. Yeah, it's great when you have these, like you have already thought this before, but you didn't know that there was already an explicit theory about it. Let's say you're training a dog. Yeah, okay. The review demonstrates. What is this? Meta analysis. Okay, that's so cool. That's so cool. Okay. Individuals. Yeah. So this is an example. Here we have peanuts, and you could log in if you have access, but oh, it's not that. It's yes. We should have something. Negative effect emerges as a higher order factor in almost every single system mood. Factor reflects general subjective distress, anxiety, showed markers, and extends to which experience the individual differences in basal activity. In certain cortical subcortical regions involving emotional processing may underlie different personality and affective disposition. Basically between cerebral. Okay. That's usually because I don't. If you don't understand the science sufficiently, then yeah, you just want to know what they have thought after doing the study. The present study indicates that the resting increasing motion indicates motion appraisals. Brain lesions in this area fail to show normal. Patients don't decreased any. They fail to decrease negative effects. Negative effects. Decreased. They display markedly impaired ability to appreciate future risks and fail to produce anticipatory. So that's of course interesting that you can have. If you reduce your ability to appreciate future risk, then you will maybe have less negative effects. Bad estimate of future risk. And then there's also sometimes where discussion sections, they progress from like quite specific things and then they develop into this. So you can see here that now they stop talking about VMPC, VMPFC and so on. In moment to moment, state levels of NA are generally low in the absence of stressors and are reflected in low scores of the hostility. Nevertheless, individual differences emerged in ratings. All these areas, along with the VMPC, have been previously identified as part of the default or baseline network of structures which are more active. Okay. PFC versus intrinsic knowledge. Ventromedial prefrontal cortex and orbital. Medial and orbital. It's heavily interconnected. Limbic OC is heavily integrated with sensory areas. Behavioral and functional imaging results suggested anatomical functional differences. The value we hypothesize the value information that regulates motivational intensity is evaluated differently in OC. Okay. So it's something like OC more focused on external information with regards to value, and ventromedial prefrontal cortex more focused on internal information. And of course I'm gonna write a lot of things that are not true here because I'm just writing from some paper that I don't know if really is good, but it well so yeah, of course. And then I have to show you all the this other thing that is important. You can click on this cited by, and then it will sort it by the most cited articles. So then you will usually find good articles. Okay, linking it to the amygdala and HPA axis. Did I have some kind of... No? Yeah, okay. Behavioral theory posits certain environmental changes. Okay, I have to go now. But